Hello, my name is John Rankin. My company is Every One to One Limited, and I have a website called Corporate One to One. Today, I'm going to be sharing some information on how to build success with people. So, what we're looking at is how people work together and how they interact. So, what we're going to discuss today is how it works, personal trait analysis, individual and team reports, building trust and loyalty, 2020 relationship centric and beyond, traditional versus new analysis, and then consequences and outcomes. So it's going to be a very much an overview of people analytics. So if you want a better outcome, a team is not a group of people that work together. A team is a group of people that trust each other. And this is very, very true, and is quoted by many people. So how it works is we do an online questionnaire. It's actually quite simple, multiple choice, and it takes about 3 to 5 minutes. Some personal information and then emotional questions. And what we use then is we use a thing called personal trait psychology or personal trait psychoanalysis. And this was championed by Gordon Allport. And he looked at traits because he found that traits are aspects or patterns of behavior, thought, and emotion that are more stable over time as opposed to behavior. So by being able to deal with something that's more stable over time, you can then look at patterns and make predictions. So we produce a general report on each individual. So we do individual analysis, but not for the sake of saying this is the person and this is who they are, but in regards to how a team works. So we analyze each individual report and compare it to everyone else's. So in an individual report, we show a person's traits, or some people call them strengths, their motivational style, whether they're laid back or whether they're highly motivated, almost like they have a motor built into them, and their stress perception. So whether they feel that they're in balance, under stress, or under continual stress. So with that information, we then are able to identify each of the different traits and compare them to everyone else's traits in the aspect of whether they're under stress or not. So you're getting the relationship between the people, not just, this is your motivational style, or these are your strengths. You want the relationship. So with this, and in 2020, we're looking to this perfect vision, and pardon the pun, we're going to give you 2020 vision foresight. So knowing how the people connect is very, very important to how they communicate, how communication goes around a group, whether they will be friends, whether they'll trust each other. And this is an aspect, as mentioned by Simon Sinek, trust makes the team. So the analytics enables us to predict and give a complete team picture. Because great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people. So in this picture, we're looking at two teams. Each person has their position on the team, but if they can't work together, they're not going to integrate, and therefore the team is going to collapse. This also shows culture. So if the team fits together well, the culture will be very, very good, because there's only two ways that you influence human behavior, and You can manipulate it or you can inspire it. And business today wants to inspire. They don't want to manipulate, because then they end up with a toxic culture. Babe Ruth was a baseball player, and he had a very good analogy of a team. He said, a team, the way they actually play together determines their success. You may have the greatest bunch of players in the world, but if they can't play well together, the club isn't worth a dime. So in these pictures, it's showing that you can have conflict within the team, but if it's not managed, it becomes toxic and people then start to leave. So with any team, are they an asset or are they a liability? Are you getting a dream team, or are you getting a toxic culture? So it's important to know the relationship between people. In this picture, I'm demonstrating it with Jose Mourinho and Paul Pogba. They just did not have a good fit. They were diametrically opposed, and the relationship just never worked. And as a result, it created a toxic culture within the team and within the club. Another example of dysfunctional teams would be Germany in the last World Cup. They had some of the best players in the world, and they were touted as possibly going to win the World Cup, but they got knocked out in the qualifying stages by South Korea. And literally, sort of South Korea played far, far better as a team as opposed to Germany, who had really some super players. So examples of a negative interaction would be, as I say, in soccer, Paul Pogba and Jose Mourinho. In independent news and media, you would have had Robert Pitt and Leslie Buckley. In the likes of tennis, Jimmy Connors and John McEnroe. In films, you would have had Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. And again, all these are very, very well documented as being people who just could not work well together. Now, while The Odd Couple was a great success, the actual culture was very, very toxic. In group terms, 70 to 90% of mergers and acquisitions fail to return or deliver to stakeholders. And in venture capital, somewhere between 70 and 90% are failures. We're in a time of change. So we're in a different era to the 1970s, where it was all product focused. Then it became product and service in the 1990s. Then it became customer centric in 2000. And now we're looking at relationship centric. So it's not only the relationship with the customer or with the client, it's also a relationship with the employees. So what does old and what does new look like? In the old, we have very formal structures, which are looked at. This is how people are selected for the role. And they're then told, right, you have to fit into that department, that team, and so forth. But really, people are very informal and they like to make friends and feel connected. So on the right, you see a very informal structure. Again, people connecting want to trust. They want to feel that trust so that they can give loyalty. And research has shown that the loyalty of an employee is first to the manager, and in a small company is to the CEO, then it's to co-workers, and then it's to the company. So know, like, and trust. People do business and buy from people that they like and that they trust. So once they get to know someone, then they feel comfortable about doing business and working with them. So it's important to realize that people do business with people who are like themselves, people with whom they can connect. In one of the problems in business is people are chosen for their qualifications and experience, but people leave or are let go or fired because they didn't fit into the team or culture. And this is what spawned the quotation, people leave managers, not company. I like to think of managers as people as well. So I use people leave people, not companies. As I say, we're in a relationship centric time. And as Richard Branson put it, if you get the right mix of people working for your company, it will have a far greater chance of success. So how do you do that? One of the things is knowing people integration. So realizing that people integration is about relationships allows you then to look at the relationship between people and then build on that. Now, nobody does people due diligence as regards integration, not HR, not mergers and acquisitions, not venture capital, nobody. So we would like to propose how to do it and how to do it right. People integration, what does it mean? We all understand the saying, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family. And if you put people into a team and say, there's the team, get on with it, it's like you have no choice, it's your family. But you want to work with people you like, your friends. So connecting and linking people together is now very, very important. As I say, people leave people, not companies. So the next logical step is to do due diligence on the connectivity of people. And if there's none, you look at how to bridge the gap, which person to bring in that will bridge the gap between maybe two people who are clashing in personalities. Companies want to attract and retain top talent. And in this one, we're looking at Messi and Ronaldo. Now, Messi is with Barcelona and he has given them total loyalty. So they are now they are retaining and attracting other talent because of the loyalty of Messi. So looking at new business models, the chance now that we have to remote work and looking for next generation leaders, it's important then to understand the relationship between people. So building a dream team, knowing how people connect. Now, this is a very simple model. It's showing different types of personality at very, as if everyone was in balance. If people are out of balance or under continuous stress, then their personality will shift. So this gives a fluctuating chart. But if you can get a team together in this fashion, as the green arrows shows, this is the direction of success. But the purple arrows are showing the points of conflict. So just take the second one there, for example, a brainstormer or a visualizer. They would conflict with a mentor, researcher, or central connector. Now, explaining that would be a brainstormer is very quick thinking, whereas a researcher likes to go away and research. So there would be conflict there. The researcher then would push back against the brainstormer, leading to internal conflict within the team. But if you have it like this, where each person is supported, you then build a dream team. And people will feel comfortable about speaking out on their own terms because they're supported by someone else. Traditional people analytical tools are talent trackers, database, pulse surveys, psychometric tests, and leadership behavioral styles. The difference and the different purposes are psychometrics is about individual assessment. It's a self-reporting test, and it shows skills, knowledge, abilities, personal traits, education, and so forth and so on. In every one-to-one, yes, we identify the traits of people, but we use it as a comparison. So it's the relationship between people. It's how we influence someone else and how someone else influences us or puts us under pressure. Our strengths, our motivational styles, our stress perception, and it's all unbiased because it's about the relationship between people, not about the individual. So the benefits are you get to understand the team, you get to understand those who trust, you get to understand the connectivity between people. And in one instance, we did a medium-sized firm of approximately 210 people, and they had trouble with their management team. And we were able to identify what was going on, who was conflicting with whom, and how to actually sort the problem out. And when we asked for a testimonial, the company came back to us and said that we had actually saved them over 500,000 and saved the 210 jobs that were all at risk. And the reason for that being is one of the people who was on the senior management team held a key account. And if he had left, the key account would have gone and the company would have suffered as a result. So people relationships are very, very important. And being able to understand them and then deal with them then becomes very powerful for managing. So don't think of it in terms of trusting people, which is a very general term. It's about knowing who to trust, knowing with assurance. So if you want any information or if there's anything, any questions, please get in contact with me. We will be running a series of webinars. The next one up will be in approximately 2 weeks, and it will be on the people aspect of mergers and acquisitions.